Hey, what's up, everybody? This is 24 Chambers of Film. I'm Steven, and today I'm going to be giving you the top 10 superhero films of all time. This is subjective, of course. This is my personal favorite because I know a lot of people are probably going to disagree with my list, but that's great. Let me know in the comment what you think and what's your top 10. Just so you know, there will be spoilers ahead when I talk about these films. So if you haven't seen them, go watch them, or I'm not going to spoil them too much, but yeah, there may be some mild spoilers in there. Anyways, okay, so let me just preface by saying, the superhero genre used to be one of my favorite genres. Obviously, as I got older, it's not so much one of my favorite genres. I'm still, open to them, but I'm not a fan of the MCU or the DCU or whatever. Like those universes, the way they're made, most of them, especially the MCU, I just feel like they're kind of soulless in the in the vision of the director. I feel like they're kind of already prepackaged and made, which just it doesn't do anything to me. It doesn't stimulate me in any way, really. So there are some good ones. Don't get me wrong. There's some good MCU movies, but the majority of them I just don't really fuck with. So yeah, don't be expecting a lot of Marvel films on my list, but let's get right into it. So yeah, that's just how I feel about the superhero genre. But there are, when they're great, they're fucking great in my opinion. So let's get into it. Number 10 is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, directed by Steve Barron, 1990. One of the first, movies I ever saw. I love it. It's just great. I love the aesthetic of this film. The New York in it is great. The grittiness, the griminess, the wet streets. Beautiful lighting in this film. I don't think it's enough attention for how beautifully photographed this movie is. The costumes are obviously still amazing. I think they still hold up. I mean, I can't wait till they make another Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie where they're back in practical costumes, because if they could do it in 1990, they can definitely do it in 2024, 20 what are nowadays. Okay, I know they're making the Last Ronin, Ninja Turtles movie, which is kind of just one of them. I'm not sure. I've never read the comic book. I've heard of it. I heard great things. I hope they are going back to practical costumes for this and not CGI like they did in the Michael Bay produced Ninja Turtle movies, which I was not a fan of. I did not like that look at all. So we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully, it delivers. Having said that, I still want, like, the OG Ninja Turtles, how it is, with Mikey, Donnie, Leo, and Raph. I want them in a practical costumes, rated R movie, where they could, actually stab people. So, like, the original comic was graphic; it wasn't for kids. So this is a great film, though. Even though it's for geared towards kids, it still gives you that dark, moody atmosphere, grittiness, in a very kid friendly way, I guess. But having said that, it's just a beautiful film to watch. I love the fight sequence at the end with the turtles and Shredder on the top of the building in New York. Elias Coates is in this, one of my favorite actors. He's so good. Or Coates. I don't know. I need to actually look up how you properly pronounce his last name. I thought it was Coates, but anyways, he's a great Casey Jones. Whoever plays Casey Jones in the future is he set a high bar for them. So hopefully they can do something good with that role. Hopefully they bring him back whenever they do a new Ninja Turtles movie. But yeah, Steve Barron did great. I highly recommend it if you haven't seen it. Like, I feel like this is a must watch. Um, yeah, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, number 10 on my list. So let's go to the next one. Number 9, V for Vendetta. Yeah, so V for Vendetta, 2005, directed by James McTeague. I think you pronounce his last name. Written by the Wachowskis, and yeah, it's a graphic novel based on Alan Moore's, book or novel, graphic novel. He was not a fan, or he didn't even watch it. I don't think. He just was already done with movies by this time, but he refuses to watch any of his graphic novels turned into movies. But yeah, this is I never read the graphic novel V for Vendetta. I've heard great things. I heard there's a big or it's pretty vastly different. I mean, not vastly different, but there's definitely differences for sure. But the movie is really well done, really well directed, beautifully shot. Natalie Portman's great. Hugo Weaving as V is great, especially for having to, be behind a mask the whole time. I'm pretty sure he was. I'm pretty sure they said he was in there, in the outfit throughout the whole thing. If not, whoever did his movements and did great. But the way Hugo Weaving delivers his lines is just top notch. He does a great job in his performance. Who's Stephen Ray is in it. He's great. Or Rhea. He's great. John Hurt's great as the villain. He's just a fucking asshole in this movie. You just want to murder him. Yeah, it's just a great film, a great political film too. Some people may call it, he's not really a superhero, more of a vigilante, but you can say that about Batman, Punisher, and other superheroes. He has an outfit. He has a lot of the things that check off for being a superhero, in my opinion. So yeah, V for Vendetta, great film. One of the best directorial debuts, I think, by James McTeague. He did great. I don't think he's lived up to this movie. But I know there was also rumors that apparently he didn't really direct this movie, that it was the Wachowskis secretly directing it, which was, I don't believe that. I think it was James. But yeah, well, just, interesting lore for the film. But yeah, great movie. I highly recommend it. Best scene is easily the scene at the end for me when V kills everybody and Creedy, he gets shot up and everything. Such a great action set piece. Yeah, just a great movie. So many memorable moments in this movie. Never gets old. The pacing is amazing too, and it just has a great mystery throughout the whole. Like the atmosphere is a mystery. It just has this vibe that I love in the movie that never gets old. Next film, this is probably pretty low to a lot of people, but The Dark Knight, 2008, directed by the great Christopher Nolan. Great film. I mean, it really grounded the superhero genre. It really made it gritty, made it feel plausible, Heath Ledger as a Joker, what can I say? Iconic at this point. It was iconic as soon as you saw it. He was amazing in the film, deserved that Oscar. And it's a shame that he's not alive, and we don't get any more great performances from him. But yeah, he's an amazing actor. I mean, he really just did something. He really brought an energy, a new energy, and a new take to the Joker. Because I feel like him, Joaquin, and Jack Nicholson are pretty much on the same level. But I give the edge to Heath Ledger. I think he gives. If I had to pick who did the best Joker performance, I give it to Heath Ledger. Still, he's just so iconic, and he's so. When the whole movie, you just wanted to see more of him. This movie could have been all about him through his perspective. It would have been amazing. I would have loved to see that. I love how they did his backstories, where he's just telling these stories and you don't know what is true. Just a really great job on the script. Really well paced for being 2 hours and 30 minutes. Yeah, it runs by pretty quick. I mean, the cinematography is great. The music's great by Hans Zimmer. I mean, Nolan really, took his game to the next level for The Dark Knight. And he just delivered an epic film. The scene with the best scene in the movie. I mean, there's a couple really great scenes, but the scene when, obviously the Joker and Batman are playing chicken, that's a great scene. Also with both the truck and when it's Joker outside of the truck. And also my favorite scene is the interrogation scene between Batman and the Joker. It's so good. The laugh that Heath Ledger gives when he's getting punched is just a perfect Joker laugh, in my opinion. So good. And I'm always looking for that. Whenever who's ever done the Joker, whoever plays Joker, I'm always like, I got to hear a really good moment where they just give that psychotic, great Joker laugh. That's iconic, So, yeah. Mark Hamill's also a great Joker, but live action wise, Heath, Joaquin, and Jack Nicholson are so good. All right, and Christian Bale's good too. I just always had an issue with his Batman voice. I can't stand it. Honestly, if his Batman portrayal was better, like his voice, maybe this would be higher on the list. That's kind of like, it's Batman's. He's great. Batman's great in these movies, but man, it really just gets under my skin. It really irks me. His Batman voice. I'm just like, why do you sound like that? Why do you sound like that? I mean, it's just too easy to like make fun of, but you can get by it because everything else is so great. But man, it just would have made this movie 10 times better if Christian Bale's Batman voice, if Christopher Nolan would be like, no, we're not doing that. You just go Michael Keaton. Just look at Michael Keaton's voice. That's what you need to do. You need to be too extra with the voice. They could have done the voice changer. I don't know why they didn't even think about that back then. What they ended up doing with Ben Affleck, in Zack Snyder's Batman vs Superman, like that makes sense, But anyways, Dark Knight is number 7 or number 8. Now going to number 7, Batman, 1989 by Tim Burton. I love this fucking film. I've always loved it. I love the aesthetic of it. I love Gotham City in it way more than the Christopher Nolan Gotham City. I just love how comic booky it looks, the surrealism in it. Tim Burton just did a great job directing this movie, and of course, it gives one of the most iconic portrayals of Batman, and the most iconic, in my opinion, is Michael Keaton. He is the best Batman. His voice is pitch perfect. The only one that's comparable is I guess Kevin Conroy, because but that's animated. But I'm talking about live action. Like, he is the Batman voice, live action wise. He's so good in it. I know people have issues with him being, his Bruce Wayne take. I think he does great as Bruce Wayne. Yes, maybe he doesn't have necessarily the playboy look, but he's a good looking guy, But his portrayal of Batman is goated, in my opinion. He's so good. He really looks psychotic in that mask, creepy. You would be intimidated. I think he's really intimidating as Batman, especially the moment when he picks up Jack Napier, before he throws him in the vat of acid. He puts him down because they're threatening Jim Gordon's life, and he gives this look to Jack Napier, Jack Nicholson. And he's just like, he's kind of like smiling, but he's like, there's a psychoticness behind it, that I love, and it's just so. I was just as kind of like creeped out by Batman as I was with Joker when I was young, because I was like, man, Batman's fucking kind of psychotic, I noticed that at a young age, so, but he's so great. Great film. I mean, it's just so entertaining. Yes, it gets a little, there's some campy moments in it, but overall it has a great, tone, a great grittiness to it, and just a great look. And it's really, besides, Superman, this is like the one that really, 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 really blew the lid off the superhero genre, when it came out. This showed that it could be really profitable. But yeah, great film. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. Number 6 is Blade, 1988 by Stephen Norrington. This movie kicks ass. Blade is one of the most badass characters ever. I didn't even know it was based on a comic book when I first saw this movie, but then I found out that he's a Marvel character. I thought that was awesome. Made it even better for me. And then Wesley Snipes is just, I've always been a fan, and he is the perfect Blade. Mahershala Ali has big shoes to fill. I think he's a great actor. I think he could deliver. If that movie even, I don't know when it's going to get made. Hopefully it does. It's been delayed, I don't know, 3 times now? I don't know what's going on. It's frustrating. I feel like he could drop out at any moment because they keep changing directors, changing scripts. I don't know what's going on, but I hope it gets made. And from what I heard, it's going to be rated R, so that's good. So yeah, I mean, Blade. I remember when it came out, I was so bummed out it was rated R because I saw the trailer and I was like, that looks like one of the coolest movies ever. And then, of course, it's rated R. I couldn't see it, so I had to wait for it when it came to Hollywood Video, and I rented it, and I just rented it so many times. The opening of Blade is one of the best things ever with the techno music and everything. It just rips. And the action sequences is cool, like boomerang blade, and just the action in it is so well executed, so well done. I mean, Wesley Snipes is just a great action star. He really knows how to sell it well. But yeah, so well done. who Chris Christopherson, Stephen Dorff's the villain. He's great in it. I mean, just a great film. There's just so many great moments in this movie. I love the ending. Blade has some really funny one-liners that I really like. Um, yeah, just great visually. I love Blade 2 also, but I think Blade 1 I give it the edge because I love the aesthetics of it more. But story-wise, they're both great. I think maybe Blade 2 has the better villain in Nomak, but but yeah, Blade 1. I just the look of it is just it's bliss to my eyes. Number 5, Watchmen. Yes, Watchmen. I feel like this is kind of, I don't know if it's controversial, but I feel like it doesn't get much appreciation. This movie was underperformed in the box office. Has some of the best trailers I've ever seen. I love the marketing for it. I read the graphic novel before seeing this movie. Great graphic novel by Alan Moore. Um, Very close to the source material, in my opinion, for the most part. Obviously, it's a pretty a lot of details in that book. It's a dense book, and they were able. I think Zack Snyder did a great job of putting the things that needed to be in the movie. Um, yeah, I recommend watching the 3 hour cut. That one's even better. But yeah, 2009. It's just such a good movie. Visually wise, it really looks like Zack Snyder is part of that. I mean, Robert Rodriguez really did it with Sin City, but Zack Snyder followed suit with 300 and giving it that like comic book look, and then he kept it with Watchmen. And it looks so good. A lot of practical stuff in it, but they do a really good job with like making the sky look comic booky and stuff like that. So, um, yeah, all the actors are great. Patrick Wilson as Night Owl is great. Malin Ackerman as Silk Spectre too. And then the comedian Jeffrey D. Morgan, Rorschach as what's his name? Jackie Earle Haley as Rorschach, Dr. Manhattan as Billy Kudrup, Ozymandias as Matthew Good. Great. I mean, I feel like the casting is great. I think one of my things that I remember thinking when I first saw this movie, I felt like Ozymandias played it a little too much like he was like the villain, like too sketchy. And in the novel, I didn't really feel that, but in the movie, I felt like, oh, he's playing it a little bit too like he has alternative motives, So I wish Matthew Good would have been a little more subtle with his like shadiness, I guess, because it would help with the reveal at the end for people that hadn't seen it, of course. But I'm curious if you didn't read the graphic novel, what do you guys think of Matthew Good of like how he portrayed Ozymandias? Did you feel like he was already the bad guy, or he was behind the whole thing of killing the superheroes? Let me know. But I felt like I already had read the book, so I knew the ending. But like I felt like he's being a little too obvious with his sketchiness, So let me know. But yeah, I love this film. The way it's shot, the music choices. Some people don't like the music choices. They feel like it's like a little too obvious. But overall, I dug them. There's a lot of great scenes. What's my favorite? I mean, the whole Dr. Manhattan backstory is probably my favorite thing in the whole movie. That and then when Rorschach dies and Night Owl 2 freaking lets out one of the best screams ever, captured on celluloid. It's so good. Yeah, a lot of great moments. I love this film. I can watch it anytime. Definitely has one of the best trailers too. If you haven't seen the teaser trailer is amazing, but then the official trailer is so good. Music in it is great too, like the actual score that I think Tyler Bates did. So good, so good. Let me see. Tyler Bates did do the music, right? Let me double check. Yeah, Tyler Bates. Yeah, he did a great job. Just a great adaptation, in my opinion. I know not everybody was crazy about it. They felt like there was like too much action in it, and I was like, I felt like it was very far few in between the action in it. And when they had it, he amped it up a little bit, Zack Snyder, but it worked for the movie. I think it was a good translation. But yeah, I recommend it if you haven't seen it. It's one of the best superhero movies ever. This one is kind of, 4 and 5 are could be interchangeable. But right now I gave number 4 spot to Hulk, Ang Lee's Hulk, which I know a lot of people fucking hate, and I'm still like mind blown why people hate it. Hulk 2003, directed by the great Ang Lee. Great with Eric Bana as the Hulk. Not part of the MCU. and you could tell because it's one of the better directed films out of all the Marvel movies. It's so well directed. I think the visually stunning. I think Hulk looks better in this movie in 2003, better than the Incredible Hulk and anything in the MCU. Like with Mark Ruffalo, I think I don't know, it just looks better. I don't know what it is they did, why it looks better. I have to watch the special features again. I don't know. Maybe because they added more practical elements into the thing. I don't know what it is, but he looks great. Like when he's in the downtown San Francisco. I don't know. They did a great job. The special effects people did a wonderful job with the Hulk, in my opinion. Eric Bana's great. Jennifer Connelly, Sam Elliott, Nick Nolte, Josh Lucas. Like, it's just a great cast. Everybody delivers. The great use of the comic book panels in it. Maybe some people find it annoying. I don't know. I thought it was great and creative and clever. And I know people were kind of annoyed that it took too long for the Hulk to appear, or he didn't have like the greatest counter, like the greatest dance partner in the sense of the villain. I don't know. I thought it was great. The whole father son thing was great. It was very poignant in my opinion. It was just a powerful film. The score, oh my god, the score is so good. I forgot who did the score. The score is by Danny Elfman. Of course, it's Danny Elfman. I don't know. I knew that, but the score is one of his best. It's so epic. It's so emotionally epic. I think it's just a powerful film, and it's super underrated, and it deserves more love. I don't know why people hate on this movie. I don't know. People are gonna be like, it's boring. It's not boring. It's just fucking good filmmaking, great storytelling is what it is. So Ang Lee's Hulk, go put some respect on its name. Go rewatch it. It's a great film. So number 3 is an MCU director, James Gunn. So James Gunn's movie Super in 2010. Now this is a great original superhero movie. Rainn Wilson plays the Crimson Bolt, and he is psychotic. His wife Liv Tyler leaves him for this drug dealer played by Kevin Bacon. So he kind of loses his mind, and he has a vision to be a superhero. So he becomes a Crimson Bolt, creates his own little raggedy costume, and starts, fighting crime. And in the process, also wants to get his girlfriend back away from this piece of shit that's played by Kevin Bacon, who's got her all drugged up and stuff like that. His sidekick ends up being Elliot Page, and he's great in it. At the time, obviously, Ellen Page. But, yeah. And what's Elliot's Page? Oh, my God. What's the sidekick's name? I cannot think of it right now. Bolty. I was right. Okay. God, I was fucking tripping right there. I don't know why. I was like, is it something else? No, it's Bolty. So Crimson Bolt and Bolty, they fight crime, and he does a lot of, Rainn Wilson, Crimson Bolt is, he's, not all there. He's hitting people over the head with a wrench because they cut in line, stuff like that. He takes it too far for sure. Definitely not a PC movie, but it's super great. Super well done. Very gritty. I know James Gunn said one of his inspirations for this film was the film Bully by Larry Clark, which is a great film, in my opinion. And it really has that kind of, bleak look, bleak atmosphere, but very great comedic moments in this film. Is really hilarious at times. Kevin Bacon as this guy named Jock, the bad guy, he is fucking hilarious. And he has this great scene when he shows up at Rainn Wilson's house looking for Liv Tyler. He makes some eggs, and it's just a very hilarious moment. And the violence in it is brutal as well. Really well done with the violence. Great practical effects. Highly recommended if you haven't seen Super. It's a banger in my opinion. Better. It's one of the best. It's better than any James Gunn's other superhero movie. It's better than All the Galaxies and Guardians of the Galaxies in my opinion. Super is his best superhero movie. Maybe Superman, the new Superman film will top it, but I don't know. It's super great. It's always an extra plus when the movie's really good and everything, but it's also an original idea, and it's not part of an IP. But we'll see. So it's funny that this movie is called Super and his next movie is called Superman. Okay, number two spot is a super underrated film that does not get enough attention, but it is a comedic superhero masterpiece, and it is called Mystery Men. 1999 by Kinka Usher, his only film that feature film that he directed. He's known as a commercial director. He did the Taco Bell Chihuahua commercials. He did the Got Milk, some of those Got Milk commercials before he did Mystery Men. And it's a shame that he never did another feature film because he showed a lot of great visual flair and style in this movie. And this movie's it's amazing. Mystery Men, it's based on the Flaming Carrot and the Mystery Men. They took a lot of liberties with the with the source material. I think the only 3 original characters from the original comic are in it, which is Mr. Furious, the Shoveler, and the Spleen. Other than that, the whole idea of a ragtag group of superheroes that are trying to make a name for themselves in this world where superheroes and villains are common, and the main superhero is this guy named Captain Amazing, who is like a political machine. He's got sponsors on his outfit, played by the talented and super hilarious Greg Kinnear. I mean, he knocks this role out of the fucking park. He is so fucking funny. I mean, one of the best comedic performances I've ever seen. So many great performances in this film. We got Ben Stiller as Mr. Furious, Hank Azaria as the Blue Raja, William H. Macy as the Shoveler, R.I.P. Paul Rubens, the great Paul Rubens as the Spleen. We got Wes Studi as the Sphinx. We got Kel Mitchell as the Invisible Boy, and then we got Janine Garofalo as the Bowler. That's like the main team, and man, they're so good. Everybody's great. The chemistry is great. It totally bombed in the box office. I don't know why. Maybe because I'm not even sure why. I remember when I saw this trailer, I was like, I'm in. I didn't think it was making fun of superhero movies. It's a satire for sure. It's not a parody. It toes the line of it never crosses from going too goofy, but it gets silly. There's silly humor in there, and there's some nice little raunchy moments in there. It's just a great film. Great film that needs more appreciation. If you have not seen this movie, go watch it. It's fucking hilarious, and the action's good in it too. It's a great superhero origin story, great superhero team story of these characters. Really unique film. The villain's great by Jeffrey Rush, Casanova Frankenstein. I mean, he is hilarious, and he's just a great villain. I mean, and like I said, Kinka Usher just had a great visual flair to this film. Directed the hell out of this movie. It's a shame. Like I said, he should be directing more movies. I don't know why. Maybe it's a personal choice. I'm curious to why he didn't do any more feature films. Maybe because he just basically, I don't know if they put him in director's jail because it was a box office bomb, because it was like I think $68 million and only made $33 million or something like that. But this movie is, also it's iconic because I think the song by Smash Mouth, it's an all-star. That song was made for this movie. I'm pretty sure. So good. Let me see. Yeah, I'm pretty sure All Star was made for this movie. That's how I know it. But yeah, I love this movie. Let me see. I'm trying to see what else. There's something else. Who made the score? The score is so good in this movie. But this movie has like great characters, fucking random ass cameos. Michael Bay's in this, Goody Mob's in this, Eddie Izzard's in this. I mean, it's great. That's the Disco Boys. I mean, the music, the needle drops in this movie are top tier in my opinion. Let's see who was the composer? Stephen Warbeck. Great job making the original music for this film. It really is memorable. I mean, it's just a great world building film. I guess they use a lot of the sets of Batman Forever in this film, but I think they improved the sets from Batman Forever. It really has that, colorful style, and it's a beautiful looking film. I highly recommend getting the 4K version. I think from Kino Larbo, Lober, yeah, great 4K restoration of this film. It's beautifully made. That was my number 2. So yeah. I probably feel like so many people are like, what the fuck are you on? These movies are not the best superhero movies, but they are. They really are. And my number 1 superhero movie of all time is Unbreakable, 2000's Unbreakable, directed by the great M. Night Shyamalan. This film is a masterpiece on so many levels. It's an original superhero movie. It's an ingenious superhero movie. Basically, David Dunn doesn't know he's a superhero. He doesn't know that he's Superman. Basically, he is got pretty much unbreakable bones, very strong, and yeah, he ends up getting in a terrible a train crash where he's the only survivor, and he has no broken bones. So then someone starts leaving notes on his like car and ask, oh, someone leaves a note on his car asking like, well, have you ever been sick? All this stuff. It's this guy named Elijah Price who is the complete opposite of David Dunn. He has he has a disease that makes his bones really, really weak and they break super, super easily, but he's super intelligent. And he's a comic book aficionado, if there was one. He knows everything about comic books. And he tells David Dunn, I think you are a superhero. I think superheroes are reality that have been, basically suppressed by outside sources. Comic books were, are the earliest form of historical drawings and all that stuff, he kind of puts it like, it's not like you're flying or anything, but there are people out here that can do extraordinary things or be extraordinary, like the people in these comic books. At first, David Dunn resists the idea, but eventually he comes to realize that Elijah Price is right. So many great scenes in this movie. The way M. Night directs this movie is so good, so masterful. The craftsmanship behind the camera movements and stuff is just impeccable, in my opinion. It's so well done, shot beautifully with anamorphic lenses. I mean, you can't go wrong with that. But yeah, I mean, there's so many great moments in this movie. I think one of my favorite moments is when Elijah tells him what his theory is. It's just a very fascinating monologue that Samuel Jackson gives. He is phenomenal in this movie, Samuel Jackson. Him and Bruce Willis just knock it out the park. Everyone's great in this movie. Robin Wright. Everybody, his son, what's his son's name? Spencer Treat Clark. He's great. Everybody, it's just a great cast. The scene where he's lifting up the weights is a great moment. I mean, obviously, I think my favorite moment is easily, spoiler alert, at the end, you are the reveal where you find out that, Elijah Price, Samuel Jackson has been doing these terrorist acts for years, trying to find the person on the opposite side of the spectrum. He's on one side of the spectrum with the weak, fragile bones. He wanted to see, why isn't there somebody who's all the way on the opposite side where their bones are unbreakable, hence Bruce Willis. And finally he finds him, but after many failed attempts of domestic terrorist acts that he has gotten away with until the end, when David Dunn touches Elijah's hand, because he also has the ability to sense who is done something wrong. He gets like a quick flash of a vision if he touches anybody, and he can see if they've sinned, essentially. But he shakes Elijah's hand. It's revealed that he's done all these terrorist acts, and that he's the one that set this up and put him in that horrible situation where the train crashed. And yeah, he basically reveals that now he's found his purpose, that he knows who he is. He is the villain. He is the super genius villain that fights the hero with his intellect. And I'm Mr. Glass. And it's fucking a beautiful and sad moment, because you wanted Elijah Price to be a good guy, and then, he ends up being the villain. And it always gets me emotional for some reason, that ending. Just the pain in Samuel Jackson's eyes and voice when, revealing, that he now has a purpose. And it's an unfortunate, thing of his situation of just being someone who couldn't do what normal kids could do because of his condition with his bones and stuff. And he got way too obsessed with comic books, but he was right. So, it wasn't all for nothing, but yeah, Unbreakable. There's no bad things about this movie for me. It's just a beautifully made film, executed story, a beautiful story, great mystery. You know, it really intrigues you. You don't even have to be into superheroes to watch this movie. You can watch this movie and it will just grab you. It will hook you right away just from the premise of this guy getting in this train crash and not breaking a bone. And then someone's questioning that he actually might, you know, confronting him saying that you might actually be a superhero, you know. It's a great origin story of a superhero. Yeah, if you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's a masterpiece, and it is the best superhero movie in my opinion. Let me know what you guys think is the best superhero movie. What's your top 10 or top 5, whatever? If you don't have a top 10, let me know your list. Let me know what you think of my list. If I'm crazy for having some of these movies in my top 10, but they're so good. I mean, what can I say? They're fucking beautifully films. You know, they're beautifully made. Yeah, I'll be having more lists to talk about other top 10s coming out soon. So yeah, let me know what you guys think, and like and subscribe and leave a comment. And yeah, till next time, 24 Chambers of Film, guys. Come find out what's up. What's up?